welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. And today we have a lot to talk about. We'll start with Jackson Hospital concerns over a surgery center coming into Marianna.
And in national news, we'll talk about how the Senate reaches a deal on a short-term debt hike well into December.
Then we'll go to sports and talk about some high school football as well as college football.
And in entertainment, we'll talk about how Tina Turner sells her extensive music catalog to BMG Music Company in a big new deal.
Then we will switch to our relationship tea topic, gender roles. What should a woman buy and what shouldn't they buy? We'll get to it right after this. Jackson Hospital voiced their concerns at a city commission meeting on Tuesday night in Marianna. So Byron, their concerns are over a possible surgery center coming into Marianna. I did some digging and found out that there may be a bit of confusion. It seems like we're talking about two different projects. If you remember, a few weeks ago, we discussed a project called Skeleton. Well, I'm beginning to wonder if Project Skeleton is actually a project that TOC, the Tallahassee Orthopedic Center, is considering as far as a medical office expansion. Now, we're talking about a surgery center that the Jackson Hospital is thinking TOC is trying to bring to Marianna, but it sounds like that's not the case. It sounds like it may actually just be them expanding their current location, because if you know, they're located right now on 6th Street, and the parking and the building, I'm sure they've overgrown. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah, so it was a bit confusing for me. I was stuck because from the reports, I think it was on Channel 13, one of the doctors, he was mentioning how it would do a harm on the revenue of Jackson Hospital, and I was thrown because I know that, when it comes to orthopedic surgeries, they don't do those at Jackson Hospital anyway. And then it was like it looked like that place, because I've been a patient at Tallahassee Orthopedic for quite a while, and it is small. So I figured, was it office space or are they actually building a surgery center? But why, so I think from that standpoint, what you're saying is making more sense. Like they're just trying to get office space, and looks like the city got caught up in a whole whirlwind.
Yeah, what it seems like, the TOC actually, I think needs to come out and just kind of state what they're considering, and just, nobody knows what Skeleton is. Nobody knows what Project Skeleton is. It's all speculation. We do know that, it's a possible business located possibly on the West End. Now, what has happened is, see, the Jackson Hospital has said a long time ago, they're going to use the Golson property, which they, were giving. The school board gave them that property last year. They want to use that property for a surgery center. That's their plan. And I guess they've developed these other plans as well. So that's why they were concerned. But here's the deal, Byron. Project Skeleton, I'm going to say hypothetically, is TOC. Okay, it's not written in stone. Nobody has said that, but I'm just going to hypothetically say it. It's TOC. TOC needs office space. They don't have the patience to actually go out and do a surgery center. So it makes more sense for them to really be looking for expansion of their, building here. So it's rumored that they're looking at the old Carroll Plaza, which is the Waco office right there at Penn Avenue and Bump Nose Road, which will make sense. That's a huge space. It's a huge lot. They're possibly looking at that. That's rumors. Nothing has been, said out loud, but it would make sense if they made that area a huge medical office complex, because they need the space. So what I think is happening, Byron, is that where they currently are located, they're renting that space from Jackson Hospital. Think about it. When Jackson Hospital said they're going to lose revenue, they're probably not really talking about because they're going to put in a new surgery center, TOC. They're probably really thinking about the money they're going to lose. If TOC decides to relocate, they'll lose that rent. Make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Mhm.
So I know generally whether it's the hospital, any other business that's coming in, they normally have those code names like skeleton. Was
Mhm.
it? I'm sure, pretty sure they have some type of uh confidential agreement or something that they won't break the news of who it is. Did they, for some reason, come out with it, or was it some random person that decided to uh disclose that it could possibly be Tallahassee Orthopedic
Well,
Center?
I'm not sure how that came to fruition. What I do know is that whenever these projects come to the county, they do have a confidentiality agreement with the Jackson County Economic Development Council, and to remain
Hmm.
anonymous until everything is pretty much, put in place. So that's how it's done. And so skeleton, yeah, is a code name for a business. We do know on the West End, we do know it could be a business that will generate revenue of $8 to $10 million. We do know that, which is another piece to this puzzle, because you're talking about $8 to $10 million of revenue on the West End that will go into the West End CRA, the community redevelopment. You know that?
Yeah.
So people got to
Yeah.
look at that and say that that's huge right there in itself.
And thinking back, I don't see if you got one or two things. Either if the Jackson Hospital wants to continue that relationship where TOC is paying them for rent for the new space, but if they get their own, it's a benefit, like the other location you mentioned, it'll be a benefit to the people that live out in that area. Sounds like to me they all need to sit down and get some clarity going on, and that's what it sounds like. In I want to say it was Rico Williams that made that comment. Sound like that's what they need to do, because one side is like, oh, they ready to get up in arms about something, and the other one is like, whoa, look, we weren't prepared to say anything. So
Right.
sounds like to me they need to get everybody to the table and get some clarity in the air, and then move forward over what decision TOC decides to do.
I think so. And I think once they do that and just be transparent, and we can, and one of the officials from Jackson Hospital even said perhaps they can do a joint venture with TOC, which will make sense as well, because it seems like TOC is not interested in doing a surgery center on their own because they don't have the patient count to do that. So perhaps, they can come to that sort of agreement where they can do a venture project. But the bottom line is TOC could possibly be skeleton. TOC could possibly be looking at a medical office complex on the West End, and TOC could possibly be the one that could generate $8 to $10 million on the West End in the CRA, which is a community redevelopment fund. So, I think people need to pay a close attention to that, especially the ones on the West End, because once that happens, when you put money into a CRA, it does trickle down to the small businesses in that area. So
I agree.
enough of that. Yeah. So I want to take a pause right here, Byron, and let people know that the local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located at 2867 Caledonia Street in Marianna. They offer property, vehicle, business, life insurance. So you can visit them at that location, or you can give them a call at 850-633-3460. That's 850-633-3460. Also, Byron, I want to talk about a project that I am spearheading called Faith Over Fear. As we all know, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are in October. And I do have my Faith Over Fear shirt on, if you can see it. As you know, I was diagnosed with breast cancer last year and got through it, and all is well. But I wanted to do something special, and I decided to ask people to join in sending hat wigs. These are actually hats that have wigs attached to it, and you can see the photos. But those are great assets to women that have gone through chemo and they have lost their hair. I mean, it was a great asset for me. So what I've done is gone on Facebook and asked people to go on Amazon.com, search for hat wigs. You can do that. And once you do that, just order them. They're, less than $20. They're not costly at all. And you can pick out the desired color, the desired length, and the desired style, and donate it to Dothan Hematology and Oncology. And I'm going to give you the address. Once you place your order on Amazon, they ask you for the address and the phone number. But you want to put in Dothan Hematology Oncology, care of Faith Over Fear project, Faith Over Fear project. And the address is 287 Health West Drive, and that's in Dothan, Alabama. 287 Health West Drive in Dothan, Alabama. And the zip code is 36303. And the phone number is 334-792-9500. I want to make sure I got it right. 334-792-9500. And just gift it and say this is for the woman that has been diagnosed with breast cancer and it is going through chemotherapy treatments. And feel free to add an encouraging word to them. So that's my project for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Faith Over Fear project. Feel free to participate. All right, Byron, we're going to go on to, Byron's going to have the information going up on the screen periodically throughout the show today. So Byron, we're going to switch to, now there's some basically good news for Chipley High School. I don't know if you know this, but Chipley High School now have a criminal justice class that they're offering. A deputy, I think his name's Deputy Jarvis, has implemented this, and the principal over there is Mrs. Alicia Clemens. And I spoke to her about it, and she says a great project. They've actually have about 61 kids enrolled, and it's a four-year class, Byron. So I think that's beneficial. Should be across the state, really, teaching kids different avenues of criminal justice. What do you think?
Yeah, so this is a college class. It's for high school
No,
students.
it's high school at Chipley High School.
Oh,
Chipley
well, that's
High
awesome.
School. Yeah, and it's a four-year class, and they can learn a lot about criminal justice.
Well, I would say this. I know I'm not sure if the state still has the program, but I know it used to have a program where individuals that could be in a program if they were 18, 19, once they hit, I want to say it was 19, once they hit a certain age, then they could carry chemical agents on the compound. So they kind of wore a different uniform, but as they went through, it kind of gave them more of the on-the-job training experience. So this would be great to build, and that program could build young people up to inspire to know what they're going to deal with when they walk in the door. And then once they get there, they have those couple of years to actually be on the job, because working in corrections is it's a very different aspect. Getting used to being behind those wires, behind those cells, that's a culture shock in itself. And just having a little time away, understanding that it's kind of a game of chess. You're dealing with people, but you're also dealing with convicted felons, care, custody, control. Being consistent with how you deal with them and how you operate and do things. Don't bend corners. Don't listen to the war stories and this and that. That'll be great for them to actually go through the mold in high school, and then it builds up. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people, the school is pretty long, but at the same time, it's kind of a real quick turnover rate because people don't know what they actually got into. And probably after a year or so will determine whether or not somebody's going to stay for the long haul or they're going to be gone. So kudos to Chipley for that. I know they had a good nursing program because my wife went through it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they still have it anymore, but I know they did have
at the high school. The high school?
Not at the high school, at the technical.
Oh, you mean technical school? Yeah. Well, these kids at Chipley High School, they can enroll in this class. Like I said, it's a 4-year program. So the first 3 years is basically building a foundation, learning about the criminal justice system. And then in their 4th and final year, they have a choice. They can, if they're interested in the Law Enforcement Academy of Corrections, they can go to the Florida Panhandle Technical College, or they can actually have an opportunity to dual enroll at Florida State University, Panama City. So they have options at 4th year if they want to continue on. So the first 3 years is just kind of introducing them to the criminal justice system and the different areas of it. So I just think it's a great thing. And I think the guy named is Deputy Dakota Jarvis. He's the one that's spearheading this. And he said that next year they're moving it to, they'll basically incorporate it into Vernon High School. So hopefully it can come over to Jackson county, district, school district. Hopefully that can be the case as well. All
Yeah,
right,
that'd
and
be
then,
awesome.
yeah, that would be. Then we're going to move on to some state news. I don't know if you heard about this, Byron, but Florida, the state Florida is the only state that has not told the U.S. Department of Education how it will spend the money that was allocated to them under the American Rescue Plan. And we're talking about $2.3 billion that the state of Florida has access to. All they have to do is fill out paperwork and submit their plans. And we're the only state in the country that has not done that. So Byron,
So we haven't even applied for. I mean, to get it.
Byron, they applied for it and they just needed to submit some more paperwork to receive it. Yeah. When the governor's office was contacted about it, of why they have not submitted it, they said that they have not received any notification from any of the districts that they needed it. Yeah.
We need to get on our district.
Let me read the quote. It says, in an email, the governor's office told a news outlet, at this time, no district has articulated a need for funding that cannot be met with currently available resources. Whenever this may change in the future, the state will coordinate with the U.S. Department of Education to ensure Florida students and educators have the resources they need. There you go.
So that makes me wonder, that's something that somebody would do if it was something attached. Like, say, for instance, a lot of people didn't want to get any of the SBA loans through the Hurricane Michael relief because it was a loan, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only common sense that I could.
Byron, you're the only state. You're the only state that did not do this. That don't sound right. But let me.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
You're the only state. Well,
I'm trying to.
Andrew Spar is the president of the Florida Education Association, and he said this money basically is certainly needed, and he's like, why aren't you getting these federal dollars? So this is what he said. He said extra funding could help mental health and physical well-being, extra cleaning, sanitizing, and air quality in schools, plus teacher and staff shortages. So Byron, it's needed. You're talking about, what did I say, $2.3 billion that's being held up that can come to the state of Florida. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I mean, this is not the only thing that he has not. Well, he recently did apply for that pandemic. Are you aware of that? The what is it called? PEBT. The state of Florida was the last one to receive that. That was $1 billion in food stamps, the pandemic electronic benefit transfer known as PEBT. The state of Florida just recently, after governors was just really being pressured, like, go ahead and get this money. That was another $1 billion in food stamps for our kids. He was like, well, our kids is going back to school, so they don't need it. Because it was basically a program for the summer, but you still could get it. And his reply was, our kids have gone back to school, they don't need it. So he recently just okayed for the state of Florida to receive that money. When I say recently, like in the last few days. And we're the last state in the country to get it. So there's a pattern here. I'm just pointing that out. There's a pattern.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I think he's getting in that political campaign role and that age-old ideology of not wanting a handout. But it's not a handout if I'm already paying into it. Not to mention areas like Jackson County, areas like especially in Northwest Florida, we may not be able to be good at articulating on paperwork what we need, but we actually need a lot of stuff, and we need some money. It can't happen with nothing in the air. So I mean, even I'm not in there, so I don't know if efforts are being made to districts to say, hey, whatever you need to make sure y'all get that to us so that we can get this funding. If nothing's submitted to us, then nothing will be submitted to get. I don't know, but it makes no sense to not get money that's out there for us to get. I don't understand that for the life.
And they have the attitude that, I mean, both education and regarding the food stamps, that nobody needs it in the state of Florida. That just, yeah, doesn't make sense. So anyway, that's all I have. So again, local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Please, give them a call, 850-633-3460. They're located in Marianna for your property, vehicle, business, and life insurance. You can visit them also on Caledonia Street, 2867 Caledonia Street. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays by appointment only. What do you have on national news, Byron?
Okay, so before I get with national news, People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home. So I'm going to begin with the Senate reaching a deal on the short-term debt hike into December. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said today, as you were Thursday, yesterday, that he had reached an agreement with Republicans to extend the debt ceiling into December. So it's not like this whole government shutdown is not going to be something that's over with. It's going to come right during Christmas season, right during the time that maybe they'll have a week, maybe two, if that, before they're out of session until after New Year. So this whole look like it's a better chess move on the side of the Republicans, because if you come to this point again, December 3rd, and you've got veterans that the benefits going to get held up, Social Security is going to get held up, all DOD government workers, they're going to either get furloughed or not get a check right during holiday season. And as we know, COVID will probably hike again because it's holiday season. It's not a smart move, but I guess it'll kick the can down the road a little longer. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell confirmed during a floor speech that they had reached a deal. So I don't know what that deal is, but look like they're kicking it down the road. So everybody, the talks will begin again come in November, December about another government shutdown. So we'll see what happens.
We'll have to keep our eye out on that. I hope that's not the case, Byron, especially during the holiday season. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the first thing popped in my mind. I'm like, it's gonna just kick it down the road, and then it's gonna be now. If not to say that I would want that to happen, but if there was gonna be a back and forth government shutdown, I'd rather be now than right in the end of the holiday season. So right in the height of it. So, but I have my next story. Facebook. Been a big story about this whistleblower. Why whistleblower Frances Haugen is Facebook's worst nightmare. Facebook is no stranger to being on Capitol Hill. Executives have repeatedly been hauled in for hearings, but this past Tuesday's hearing stood out at a strong standpoint in the performance of witness Frances Haugen. This former employee, she basically came out and talked about how Facebook is basically ignoring a lot of the data that they're getting, that how harmful it is to kids, especially to girls, with wanting to, get likes and bullying and things that tactic. And also she suggested that they stop with businesses trying to sell and promote to young people. She explained the technical workings of Facebook and the platforms and in a real polished and uncomplicated way. So this kind of made it for everyday folk like myself. You got to break it down Barney style. For me, she did a real good job. So hopefully we'll see what comes out of this. I know I don't know if you experienced it, but I experienced it where Facebook was done, Instagram was done for like a whole day. Over this time frame, I remember back in the day, MySpace was the juggernaut, and then somewhere along the lines, Facebook through colleges and things that such just happened to become this monopoly. And to think, like, people have to understand, when it comes to business, a business, just like a human being, a business cannot survive without a profit. And understanding Facebook, they don't necessarily care. No business necessarily cares about whether or not the product or the service that they're providing is harmful, so long as it's making a profit. So, feeling bad about knowing that kids are being exposed. I mean, the music industry is the same thing. You've got,
that's the unfortunate part, because
yeah, like rappers and
yeah.
hip hop. Who buys music? I mean, older grown folk that's 35, 40 plus, you're not buying music like that no more.
Right.
You'll listen to it, you'll stream, or you'll get a younger person to say, hey, pull up that song, such and such and such. But young people are the content creators. They're the ones that spend money and get all into celebrities and music. And so when we get older, that's when we get a little more cautious over what gets exposed to our kids.
Because there's no filter
at
this point, and that's unfortunate. No filter.
I mean, you did, and you did have, FCC. Like when I used to watch videos, Video Soul, Rap City, and stuff like that. You artists had to be very creative with their music when they would have vulgar language and curse words. They had to get creative to make it a hit where it wasn't like 1,000 edits out of it. So, but now kids can go on YouTube. Yeah, they can pull up the raw, uncut stuff. And it's just one of those things where they do need to tighten down on what but because they've been able to kind of wiggle through things as a corporation and as a business, they've not been held accountable to the standard. Yeah, they got to set a real standard, and there needs to be some oversight over, because social media is a brand new thing. It's not television. It's this brand new thing. So it's time for this, more whistleblowers need to come out,
Byron, I think if more people come out against it or exposing, and then I think a change can come, because that when you bring awareness to a situation, and a lot of people do it at the same time, then you can get change. So I think it's time, because the sad part is a lot of times we don't realize how it's affecting our kids mentally. I mean, our kids make some, I'm going to say this, some crazy decisions. And a lot of time it's driven by what they've heard or what they've seen on social media. True or false?
Mm-hmm. And that's true. And I'm going to go a step further. Me as an adult, I get caught up in it. I can't lie. I get caught up in it. It's I look to see how many likes I got on this post, how many loves I got, how many shares I got on this post. And next thing you know, an hour went by. You've been strolling. I could have been reading the book. I could have did some around the house. So just take that, add 100 to it, and a kid that's in school and middle school, high school, that's still trying to figure themselves out, still trying to grasp with what kind of person do they want to be or want to project themselves as, and wanting to be cool and wanting to fit in. And then you tie social media into it, because a girl that will make a prime example. Yeah, a girl that will make her own Instagram page, and she's in the art, and she posts her art stuff and never gets a like or comment. But the minute she does a TikTok dance and throws a little twerking in there, she gets 1,000 hits. Everybody, oh, now that's what I needed. But that's not who you are. You see what I'm saying? And they know this. So I hope things change for the better.
For our kids, for this generation and the next generation too, Byron.
Yeah. Too. I'm steadfast with trying to keep mine, keep them away from it until they get older, and where I can spoon feed the understanding of what
it's hard, Byron. I mean, it's hard.
It is.
I mean, mine loves TikTok, and I'm like, you can't monitor and police everything. You try, but it's just it's a challenge. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. And even with some of the videos, even like with the cartoons or things like that you may, have your little ones watch, you have to make sure you watch them, because they have some subliminals in there that you're like, whoa,
exactly.
Yeah. So to my next story, there was a suspect in custody. A suspect finally got in custody after the 4 that was injured in the Texas school shooting. So there was an 18-year-old, I don't know if you know about it, but it was an 18-year-old suspect that was in custody Wednesday after 4 people were injured in a shooting at a Texas high school, authorities said. 3 of those victims were hospitalized, with at least 1 requiring surgery. This was Timberview High School in Arlington, Texas. So as the story begins to unravel, when it first came out, it was seeming like it was an active shooter situation. And because the school, like ours in the state of Florida, practiced so much on active shooter situations, they went into active shooter mode, lockdown. And it seems like now as the story is evolving, the young gentleman that did the shooting, seems like it was a fight that happened earlier. The parents of the young man was saying how he was bullied, and it wasn't the right thing to do, but this is what it came from. So it was basically a target or maybe a retaliation against what he deemed as people bullying him. So hopefully, as this story comes out, it'll begin to get more clear. But I know, when I saw it, it looked like another just random school shooting, and it's coming out that it's looking like he was a victim or alleged victim of bullying.
But Byron, it also said that in addition to him being bullied, that he was robbed that day.
Yeah, that's another one. So I don't. So we don't know if that day he had a gun, and when those same kids showed up, boom, or if he went back and came with a plan before anybody said anything or did anything to it, just went.
Or maybe it was a different day. Or maybe he was robbed the day before something. But it sounded like to me, Byron, that he was that kid that was picked on, bullied, and he just, didn't know how to handle the situation, or I don't know if he told anybody, because that's where you find a problem at. The kid that's being bullied won't say anything, and then they just kind of react, and this is what you have. He thinks he's defending himself and causes more harm, especially to others and to those that were not really involved. So, I hate to hear stuff like this, especially if it's a situation where that particular kid was bullied. I hate to see that. And Byron, I don't know if you realize this, but sometimes you can kind of look at kids, and I do. I can look at kids and I can kind of see, the ones that are can take a joke, or can take critique, or just joking around, horse playing around, and those that are basically take it, kids are kind of hone in on one particular kid. So over a period of time, it does become bullying. You may do it one time, a group of kids may do it one or two times, but then when they continue to do it, then it becomes bullying, and that kid, continues to suffer some mental issues. And this is kind of stuff that happens.
That I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize that until I was in Marine Corps Recruit Depot. When I was in basic training around people that weren't from where I'm from, that came up from a different, side, I realized there was one guy, I forgot his name, but he said something funny. I was like, man, you stupid. And he was like, that's what I'm talking about, man. Why you always name calling me? And he got real, he was hurt. And I was like, dude, I said, man, what are you talking about? And he really, was in his feelings. And I was like, I'm saying that you're funny. I'm not meaning that you're stupid. And it was just one of those things I had to realize that, everybody they receive things different. Don't make them weak, don't make them anything like that, but everybody's life experience is different. And one person that you say something to, they might go from 0 to 100 real quick, and others might not. They would take it exactly as you intended for it to be. So,
but Byron, I mean, what you just described was mild, but I've seen kids, they can be cruel and harsh, and they're just joking and playing around, but what's coming out of their mouth is really mean and ugly, and they're laughing. That is falling on grounds that are like, that person's feelings are truly, truly hurt. And if you're trying to be friends with this group of kids, and they're constantly saying negative stuff about you and jokingly still laughing, that doesn't feel good at all. So, we have to watch out for stuff like that.
It's a hard thing to police as well, as a faculty, staff, as a teacher, as a principal, as an educator, because one thing I tell my son, I tell my kids, I was like, look, a bully, you're going to have to deal with them at some point. You can tell the teacher, you can tell the principal, but guess what? When you're walking down the hallway, you got to pass, going to the restroom, there you go. You're waiting on the bus stop, or you're on the bus, there you go. If you take a different route from the lunchroom and you down the hall, there you go. So at some point, you're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to stand up to them and show them. Now, I ain't saying you always got to fight.
Yeah,
but you can tell. And the culture is changing. I hope it, gets better. But a lot of times with kids that bully and do stuff like that, a lot of them, they say just stupid stuff out the side of their head and don't realize that that's real bad. But others that engage in bullying and they know they're bullying, it's coming from something else. They would treat it that way, or say there's an underlining, yeah. And that's what we got to get to. That goes back to that mental health, what we were talking about. That goes back to the training, and that goes back to the in-depth things that need to, especially coming off of this pandemic. You're gonna get a lot frustrations that's gonna come out of different ways, especially out of kids.
That's why we need the money for mental health in Florida, and from the Department of Education.
Yeah, we don't need stuff like that and happening on a regular basis in the state of Florida.
But you see what I'm saying? I said that's why we need the money that he has not applied for or received. That's why we need the money to address mental health issues. I mean, you need to have mental health counselors. I mean, we do. We'll probably need more than what we do. I think they have like one per school or two per school, something like that. It's not a lot because they can't afford it.
Like that school that in Arlington, that's a pretty big school. So I mean, I don't know how many resource officers they have, but that's a pretty big school. But yeah, I don't know the game plans for that. But that's all of national news was brought to you by People's Funeral Home, because we care. We're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that are within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a suitable price for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. People's Funeral Home.
All right, we'll move on to our sports. I'll give our high school sports, what we got coming on for tonight. Graceville is at St. John Paul II, which is a school in Tallahassee, and that game is at 6:00 because it's in Tallahassee. Last week, Graceville lost to Sneads 41-20. And then Sneads is at home. It's their homecoming. And the school is called Pataula. It's Pataula Charter. And they're a school out of Edison, Georgia. So they play them tonight at 7 in Sneads for their homecoming. Cottonelle's homecoming as well tonight at 7:00. They play Franklin County. Last week, Cottonelle had a bye, so they should be fresh. Tonight, also, Mariana's homecoming. We have 3 homecomings in Jackson counties. Tonight, they play Bay. Last week, Mariana lost to South Walton, 35-28. That was South Walton they lost to. And then Chipley has a bye, so they don't play today. They lost last week to Escambia Academy. And then Blountstown is at home against North Florida Christian. That game is at 7:00 tonight as well. And last week, Blountstown lost to Holmes County 21-20. That was their only loss, so now they're 4-1. And then, so check out those high school games tonight, especially the ones that are homecoming in Jackson County. College football action on tomorrow. Georgia's at Auburn at 2:30 on CBS. Alabama is at Texas A&M at 7 p.m. on CBS. And Vanderbilt is at Florida at 11 a.m. That's can be seen on the SEC network. Florida State is at University of North Carolina at 2:30 p.m. on ESPN. And then you have Miami. They have a bye, so they're not playing this week. Bethune-Cookman, they're hosting Mississippi Valley State. That should be a good game as well. That's at 4 p.m. And then South Carolina State is at FAMU in Tallahassee at 5 p.m. I don't know if you heard about this, but FAMU has a docu-series coming out that Chris Paul, the basketball player, is producing. It's called Why Not Us? FAMU Football. And so it basically just follows the football team for the season. And it's going to be, let's see when it's going to air, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Like
it's going to start airing.
What's that show the pros got? They got one kind of like Hard Knocks or something like that.
Oh, something like that. Yeah. Uh-huh. The first episode will be seen next Thursday, on the 14th on ESPN Plus. So you guys check that out. I don't know the time, but next Thursday, October the 14th on ESPN Plus, look for the docuseries of for FAMU. It's called Why Not Us? FAMU Football. So that should be pretty good. And again, like I said, it's basically brought to you on Chris Paul's production. I think his production is called Roadside Entertainment and Paul's O-Dip. So that's the name of his company. So should be pretty interesting, I think. And I'll give you your top 10 for college football on the AP poll. Alabama is number 1. Number 2 is Georgia. Iowa is number 3. Penn State is number 4. Cincinnati is number 5. Oklahoma is number 6. Ohio State is number 7. Oregon is number 8. And then Michigan's number 9. And then BYU is number 10. And that's all I got for sports. What do you have for entertainment?
Hey, so for Florida State made it by the hairs of the chin. So kudos.
Oh, they got their first win. Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
They got the first win against Syracuse. So first win. Yeah. So maybe they can get another one, against North Carolina. We'll see.
Yeah, let's keep it going. But so entertainment is brought to you by 2Egg TV. 2Egg TV is an off-beaten path streaming travel channel. Dale Cox and the 2Egg TV team take you on a digital adventure in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama with travel features and documentaries. You can watch 2Egg TV on YouTube, Roku, and at 2eggtv.com. That's 2eggtv.com, 2Egg TV. So entertainment, something that I don't know if it will make you mad or make you happy. Tina Turner, she sells her extensive music catalog to BMG Music Company in a new deal. So a lot of artists spend a lifetime trying to get the rights to their music. And so Tina Turner's up in age, she's 81, and sold her music rights to the German music company BMG. According to a Wednesday statement, the deal includes recordings, writings, and Turner's name and likeness, spanning across the work of 10 studio albums, soundtracks, and other compilations. She'll continue to be signed under Warner Music record label, but BMG will be handling all of her past work, safeguard her inspirational legacy. The project of, this is what she said, the project of my life's work, my musical inheritance is something personal. Turner said in a statement, I'm confident that with BMG and Warner Music, my work is in professional and reliable hands. So I think it was sold for like 50-some $million. And I just look at it from the standpoint, I know she has kids. I know she probably has grands. So me personally, if Tina Turner was my mom, I'd be like, hey, mama, I'm probably not going to do anything with your music and anything. If you got intentions on passing something to us, go ahead and do it now, because I'm not, that was your dream, that was your thing. Go ahead, we're not mad at you. So maybe that was one of those situations where she was like, look, I'm not going to put that on my kids to handle all of this. I'll just rather put it towards, an entity that will make sure that my music and my legacy will keep going, and I'll have some residual funds to pass on to my kids and my grands or something like that.
When I first heard that, I was like, but I guess when you put it that way, it makes sense. Maybe she doesn't have anybody in her family that's interested or that's capable of handling that type of business for her. So maybe that's why she did it. I mean, if you had somebody that she was grooming, then I can see it. Like if she had a kid or a grandkid that was in the business, knew what they were doing, knew how to handle it going forward, then I can see it. But obviously, she did not have that, because I can't see her doing that and got somebody in her family that's capable of handling the management of her, of her legacy. So, and then you said $50 million. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
and then when you look at it, like Tina she's always been, she's always went against the grain. I mean, she, went to Europe and got a citizenship, and she just, so
does it differently.
It's probably one of those things. Yeah.
It does it differently. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Kudos to her.
Yeah.
So my next story, Kesha Knight Pullum is married Brad James in a small ceremony at their home in Atlanta. So I don't know if she's gonna hyphenate the last name again to be Kesha Knight Pullum James. We'll see how she works that out. But yes, she has tied the knot. The actress exchanged vows, as you were, with new hubby Brad James. This was earlier this week. Pullum she went to Instagram on Saturday. She shared the news along with slideshows, snapshots of her gorgeous wedding. She stated last week, my life forever changed. I married my best friend at our home, surrounded by family, and it was magical. So that's kudos to
Her.
her.
She
She
found her
got what she
bud.
wanted.
You know, she was
Yeah.
she dated Bud on the Cosby Show when she was a Rudy. So
Yeah,
that
man. But hey,
Bud, yeah.
I used to, when I was a kid, I used to hate on Bud, man. But you going somewhere? That's supposed to be mine. But then, older I got, I was like, man, I wish Bud could have got old Rudy. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Bud.
Okay. Well, good for her. Good for her. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that this is October, this is a good segue for the next story. Now that it's October, it's Halloween time. I'm a big Halloween fan. I love horror movies. My
Really?
wife don't. She don't. Yeah, I love. Now I got a cousin. He's gory. He likes the gory stuff. I'm good with the scary suspense. I'm good with them. The Halloweens and the Friday the 13th and the Jason and Freddy Krueger. Those are my things. So is Halloween Kills, is this the last movie? Is this the last Halloween sequel? Michael Myers is back, up to no good. This last one, I thought he was gone forever, but after 3 years, David Gordon Green is returning to his Halloween sequel trilogy with Halloween Kills. It releases next week, just in time for Halloween itself. In the 2018 Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, it killed the box office, earning more than $250 million worldwide, becoming the highest grossing chapter in the 4-decade franchise and setting a new record for the biggest opening weekend in history for a horror film starring a woman. So, hey, hopefully it grosses even bigger now that things are kind of, people kind of coming out more. But yeah, I'm hyped up about watching this new Halloween and watching all the old school horrors that'll come on for the rest of the month.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting. I'm not a I don't get into those type movies, but I do like Halloween. Just just the pumpkins and the costumes, and I like Halloween for that. But you can have the horror movies. The closest I watch is Boo by by Tyler Perry. I'll watch that.
Oh
But that's
man,
about it.
come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love some.
I
Now,
like Boo
I
one and
wouldn't
Boo
always
two.
like that. I wouldn't always like that. Well,
Okay.
entertainment was brought to you by 2Egg TV. 2Egg TV is an off-beaten path streaming travel channel. Dale Cox and the 2Egg TV team take you on a digital adventure in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama with travel features and documentaries. You can watch 2Egg TV on YouTube, Roku, and at 2eggtv.com. That's 2Egg TV.
Okay. All right. We'll move to our relationship tea. And our relationship tea topic today is regarding gender roles. What do a woman buy and what shouldn't she buy? And this came about because I don't know if you guys heard recently that Portia Williams, one of the cast members of Real Housewives of Atlanta, recently purchased an engagement ring for her fiance. She recently purchased an engagement ring for her fiance. I guess she felt that she needed to buy one for him because he bought one for her. And that's kind of, I've never heard of that. Normally the guy buys the engagement ring for the woman, but she in turn bought him one as well. What do you think about that, Byron?
I'm gonna say two things. For people in relationships out there, what works for you works for you. Don't let nobody tell you what you should do with your relationship with another person. Because there's guys I've seen them out there, oh, a man should pay for everything and a woman shouldn't have to pay for nothing. I'm a 50-50 guy, but what works with me and mine, that's our business, and what works for us. At the same time, I still feel like personally, a man still has, he has to have some sort of role, let me be the one to bend that knee and ask for your hand in marriage and go to
The
your
chivalry.
parents and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but hey, I've in the past, long time ago, I've dated females that, hey, they want to pay. They don't want you and get mad if you say you're gonna pay for the meal or pay for something like that. And I've had some that say, I ain't never had nobody do nothing like this. So
Yeah. Well,
chivalry is always, it doesn't have to be assigned to men, but I just say like, hey
yeah.
fellas, get back to the chivalry game. You know, did you see the one with Tabitha Brown? You know, she got a lot of flack for, you know, basically to, you know, making a way so her husband could go and early retire. I think he worked in law enforcement. I think he was a police officer, and she caught flack for that. So
She has a book coming out right now. Is she
I
the one with
think
the book
so.
out? Okay. I think she does have a book
She's
coming out. Yeah. So that's her.
yeah,
So she
she
made a
got
way that
popular
her
with those
husband
videos.
don't have to work anymore.
Yeah,
Is really now?
yeah, and then he went ahead and early retired, and I think it was Wendy Williams that gave her a lot of flack over, you know, but I looked like Wendy Williams was basing her relationship on Tabitha Brown and her husband's relationship, basically saying that when he gets bored, he's gonna blame you and he's gonna leave you, you know, all that type of stuff. So, but yeah,
Okay.
what works for you works for you. I think men still need, you know, get back into the chivalry game. Hold it
Yeah.
down. Do have
I
something.
I
You say,
agree.
hey,
I think what back to Tabitha, she does have a book I'm looking at now. It's called Feeding the Soul. I knew I saw it recently. Finding Our Way to Joy, Love, and Freedom. But you know, I I'm like you know, whatever works, works. I mean, if Portia felt that she wanted to give her fiance a ring, that you know, that's what she wanted to do, then of course it's her money and you know, that's her decision. But I am about chivalry. I am also about, you know, you do want to shower your mate with, you know, affection, with gifts. You don't want it to seem like it's one-sided, and I think that's what tends to happen sometimes in relationships. It becomes like the man is doing all the outputting, especially when it comes to gifts or
yeah,
whatever. But you know, women, we can do stuff too. I'm not
yeah,
sure about, you know, if you want to go out and buy a ring, because you do have to buy a ring for the actual wedding ceremony. So you, but you
yeah,
know, to each his own. But you know, there is a way that you can continue to make that man feel that it's not a one-sided relationship, that you're not always receiving. Even when it comes to going out to dinner, you know, when you're dating, you know, it's okay sometimes to say, hey, let me treat you. You know, it's okay to do that. I'm talking to the
yeah.
single ones.
And and when you think about it, I don't, like I said, I don't know their relationship or how it is in 3D. That's what I like to say. But it sounds like to me like that could be one of those situations where, because men, we're good at this. A lot of times women will be like, what's taking him so long? What's taking him so long? And in our minds, we're trying to plan and prep, and we want to be able to get her that 5 carat, you know,
Mm,
ring, that see, even if it's not even nowhere near in my capabilities of how much money I'm making. And then,
right,
oh, I'm trying to stack up this 40 grand for this big wedding I want to give her.
right.
In her mind's like, what's taking so long? And this could be one of those moments where she letting him know that, hey, even when you're down, I got you.
Well,
You
well,
know what I'm
Byron,
saying? Like
I
even
think I think Byron, she had a ring. I think she just reciprocated. Like I think she
yeah.
already had a ring. I think he already bought her a ring, and I think she
Oh,
just kind of wanted him to have one too. Yeah, it wasn't.
okay.
I don't think it was a situation where she just, you know, arbitrarily just went and bought him one before she got one first. If I remember
Yeah.
correctly, you know, you remember there's a whole scandal around that whole relationship. I don't know if you know, but when he is actually the ex-husband of one of the other girls that was on the show, and supposedly they
Oh,
were
yeah.
friends. Yeah, I
You got
used
to
to watch
school
the
me. I
show.
don't know.
Yeah, I used to watch
Yeah, I
the
don't know
show.
nothing.
But anyway, so Portia and this guy's ex-wife were friends on the show, and then next thing you know, Portia and the guy started dating, and then quickly they were engaged, and you know, so on. But anyway, but that's the backstory to that. However, like I said, I think it sounds like he did propose. I remember when they got engaged, and I think she just kind of gave him one too, like an addition type
Mm,
thing. So, but that's a whole nother
okay.
subject. So, as far as do women jump the gun and propose and give the man, you know, the proposal before they receive one? I don't agree with that. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't agree with
Yeah.
it. I don't see that the same way. I don't, you know, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
in favor of that. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. I think the
Yeah.
man
Because
should still be the asking. Yeah. Do the
yeah.
asking.
That's one of those hidden checklists that you have when you
Yeah.
kind of evaluating this life partner, this potential life partner. I'm gonna give you the you gonna have the rope on that one. I want to see what trigger you gonna pull before I jump out there and just because I want to get married.
Yeah.
No.
Woman don't need to, my opinion, woman don't need to, you guys discuss, you discuss it, but you don't just come out and say, hey, do a formal proposal. Let him do that. You remain the woman and let him, it says a man that finds the wife finds the good thing. That's what it says. So I just think the man should find, let him do the initiating. Yeah.
But that's changing a lot. I know I see it on my timeline. I see a lot of women going down on the knee and proposing to the man.
Yeah.
So
it
don't feel right. But they call me old school, so
me too.
Whatever.
Me too. So, but that goes back to gender roles. What should women do? What should they not do? What do you teach your girls? Like, I'll teach them. I'm teaching my old school, still to open the door. You meet the parents. I'm still going that route. It just
and my thing is when we talk about as far as gender roles, for me, I'm not saying what you can or can't do as a woman or as a man. I'm just saying that everybody's got to have something. They got to have, you got to have a role. You got to have something that you say, okay, this in a relationship, and that may be what has to happen, okay, and gets established. My role in this relationship, I want to be the one to do this. I want to be the one to make you happy. I want to be the one to be your, your security structure. But in other relationships, the man may be like, hey, I want you to be that for me, whatever works for you. So because I've seen like some guys, I've got friends that they can't keep a money in their pocket, it'll burn a hole in them. They can't handle it. But then I've seen men that can handle. So in a relationship, they're the ones that handle the money and the finances, whereas the woman will be the one to handle it. Like my mama, she in all the people I've met in my life, she is the best person when it comes to money and spending and I learned from her. So it's just one of those things that
that's an even exchange as far as when you're especially when you're in a marriage, what works as far as who handles what. So that's kind of a little different than I think than a woman going out and saying, proposing. I'm gonna get him before somebody else get him. I'm gonna ask him first. Like, whoa, we ain't like that yet, So anyway, just each his own. People can say that. So Byron, I think we're up against the clock. It's been a great show, but I do want to mention Faith Over Fear Project one more time. And again, you'll see the information on the screen. If you feel like you want to donate, please participate in this project. It's a great thing to do in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month for the ladies. Again, you can send it to the Dothan Hematology and Oncology Center in Dothan and just gift it, the hat wig saying this is for the woman who has been diagnosed with breast cancer and who's going through chemo treatments, and add a little encouraging note to that. Okay. So Byron, I'm going to say it's been I thank everybody for watching the show. And remember, when you know the truth, you can speak the truth. And the light shines brighter when it shines for two. Have a good evening.
Peace.